Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We will present the topic of just-in-time system. My name is Noafika binti Zulkifli. I will begin with the introduction of just-in-time. The definition of just-in-time is just-in-time inventory and production system is a comprehensive system of controlling the flow of manufacturing in a multi-stage production environment. The underlying philosophy under this statement is simplification of the production process by removing non-value added activities. Okay, what is non-value added activities? Non-value added activities is activities that does not add value to a product even from the customer perspective or for the business and therefore can be eliminated. Okay, to be simple and easy to understand, JIT is an inventory management method in which materials or products are received from supplier only as they are needed for the production process. The fundamental goal of the system is to remove stock at every level of the manufacturing process from raw material to finished goods in order to save inventory holding costs and boost inventory turnover. Usually, this system often applies primarily to repetitive manufacturing process in which the same product or component are manufactured over and over again. Okay, next we will move to the history of JIT. JIT system is a Japanese management philosophy that was invented by Taiichi Ohno of Toyota shortly after World War II. This system was designed to handle large or small volume of a variety of parts. Legends say that Ohno got the idea for his manufacturing system from America's supermarket system. He learned the Kanban, which is pull system, from the supermarket system in which the customer pull the goods from the shelf to fill their shopping carts, eventually creating an empty space on the shelf. The empty space is a signal for the seller to replace that product. When the goods or product quantities become low, that is the signal for the stockers or seller to order more goods from the supplier. So, in order to apply this concept of manufacturing, Ohno devised a system whereby the usage of the parts is determined by production rates. The material are pulled through the plant by usage or consumption of the part in final assembly. He decided to move the machine closer together and form manufacturing cells as to maximize the result. The JIT system continued to evolve with the central thrust to eliminate the waste. Ohno's system has become a totally flexible system in which production rates are determined by the end user, referring to the customer rather than the producer. Okay, the next objective of JIT is eliminate waste. When there is no stock to be stored, it can avoid waste caused by certain circumstances. For example, a manufacturer that uses just-in-time inventory model can quickly increase production of an in-demand product while reducing production on products that are slowing down. Okay, the company will need to cut prices on any unsold inventory just to clear it out, while reduce the perceived value of the manufacturer other products. The just-in-time inventory model is actually they can reduce this waste. Okay, the last objective of JIT system is no material is purchased. In implementing the JIT, the material will not be purchased if there are no production. Unlike the old system, the raw material is purchased due to production, forecasting demand and production. The old system normally has low networking with supplier and most of the raw material required during the years are purchased. in advance and spend a lot of money and space storing the raw material and taking care of them. Just-in-time system is trying to overcome this by ensuring that there is a good relationship with the supplier and the raw material are purchased only if there are production. However, this meets this objective. The company that implement just-in-time needs to build a perfect relationship with its supplier, or in other words, supplier could access the company's system to understand the demand. Otherwise, supplier might not be able to supply the raw material on time and as required. This is the warning point for the company that wishes to implement this system.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Natasha binti Khairun.
So, I'm going to continue on the next slide regarding JIT productions and JIT purchasing. Just-in-time systems involve JIT productions and JIT purchasing. The aim of JIT purchasing is to purchase raw materials from the outside suppliers only as they are needed to avoid any costly inventories build up. JIT purchasing is also used in retail, wholesale, and service firms beside in the manufacturing in order to reduce warehouse inventories and to streamline the purchasing function. On the other hand, just-in-time productions minimizes the time, labor, and materials in a manufacturing process. It does so by only producing goods as they are needed to, just as same as in the JIT purchasing earlier. The desired outcome is a streamlined production systems that maintains a minimal amount of on-site raw material, minimal wait times in the production process, and small batch sizes. Next, I'm going to explain on how just-in-time system works. Under just-in-time system, productions and inventory purchases are pulled through the system, which is known as pull systems that driven by the actual demands of the final customer. In the other words, the goods are produced and materials are purchased only when there is customer demand for it. Instead of forecasting demand, the pull systems produces as needed to meet the actual demand of the customer for the final goods. This can be compared with a push system, which is found in the traditional inventory management and production system like EOQ. Under push systems, goods are purchased or produced to meet the inventory requirement rather than to meet the actual customer demand. Inventory, rather than the actual customer demand, pushes the productions, while in the pull system, the actual demands of the customers pull the productions. Pull systems of production management is an important characteristic of the just-in-time approach and result in significantly reduced inventory. To visualize the just-in-time approach, let's examine the exhibit given, which illustrate how hardly implementing the pull systems on the productions of its Parmesan cheese. As you can see, there is a dashed line run upwards. This dashed line run upwards actually represented the signal sent to the next stage, which triggered the productions of the Parmesan cheese. Let's begin with the sales at the bottom. When customer demand for the Parmesan cheese arises at this stage, signal was sent to the packaging stage informing that more finished units is needed, which directly triggers activity in the packaging stage. Similarly, when production's employee in packaging need more Parmesan cheese to pack and seal into boxes, they send the signal back to the assembly stage. These flows will continue until the purchase of raw materials are made based on the signal sent from each stage, from the bottom up to the top. Under just-in-time approach, signal was sent from the subsequent stage when they are only needed in the next stage. This signal triggered the productions in each stage and was sent in the form of Kanban. Kanban will be explained in more detail by my teammates later.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shazwan bin Abdul Alim and I will present about the key feature of JIT production. Based on theory, a key feature is something that is an interesting or important part of characteristic in a production of organization. The key feature of JIT production is first, the pool method of coordinating production. Its main goods are produced in each manufacturing stage and materials are purchased only when needed at the next stage. The signal that triggers production in each stage is sent in the form of Kanban, which is a term for cut or visible record. Nothing is manufactured at any stage until its need is signaled from the subsequent stage using a Kanban. As a result, no component of finished goods are produced until they are needed and therefore no inventory build-up. Thus, it can reduce the wait time and associated costs. Next, it is a simplified production process. This is the second one. This is where they will simplify the production. It begins with the arrival of material from the supplier and ends with the delivery of goods to customer. It helps to speed up the production process to help ensure prompt delivery of the product to the customer. Non-value-added activity are identified and removed throughout the production process. The third one is quick and inexpensive setup of production machinery. To produce in small batches, setup times must be reduced. Otherwise, the production line will be too slow to meet customer delivery requirement. Some companies setup can take more than an hour, while other companies only 10 minutes may be required. To reduce the time taken for setup, companies can use advantage of technology, analysis of activity, identification and elimination of non-value added. Then, the key feature is the next one is purchase of material and manufacture of sub-assemblies and product in small lots. This means that in JIT, because material are purchased and goods produced only as required, the batch size tend to be small and inventory are also low. Other than that, effective preventive maintenance of equipment is also a key feature in JIT production. This is where companies will take necessary precaution and measure to prevent equipment failure. Frequent prevention is essential to avoid production delays since goods needs to be manufactured just in time according to the customer's order. It also helps to avoid costly downtime due to the machine breakdown. In addition, a flexible work team also the key feature of JIT production. The JIT system encourages multi-skilled workers, flexible facility and a teamwork environment. This is because business may restructure their production process from rigid assembly lines into work-based team. This improves the production system to help the company maintain its competitive advantage and eliminate non-value-added costs. The JIT system also promotes stronger relationship between supplier and producer. It's open up communication and information flow between the supplier and producer. Last but not least, the key feature of JIT production is high quality level for raw materials, components and finished product. If raw materials and components and sub-assemblies are to arrive just in time for production, they must be just right for their intended purpose. Otherwise, the production line will be shut down and significant non-value added cost of waiting will result. Quality is not only a requirement of JIT, it is also a result. Under JIT, any quality problem becomes apparent immediately because defective output are input into the next stage of the production process. With a traditional approach, the defective unit may be hidden in work in process inventory and not discovered for days or even weeks. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Nadia binti Miftahur Rahman. Okay, we proceed to the next slide. 3 elements of JIT system. Okay, the first element is GIT manufacturing. GIT manufacturing is focused on production system to achieve value-added manufacturing. Okay, the second element is total quality management. Total quality management is an integrated effort designed to improve quality performance at every level. Okay, the last element is respect for people. Respect for people rests on the philosophy that human resources are an essential part of GIT philosophy. According to GIT, genuine and meaningful respect for employees must exist for a company to get the best from its workers. Okay, next slide is about Kanban. Okay, Kanban is a Japanese term for a card or visible record which is used to signal a request for a new production or inventory. Okay, it was developed by Taichi Ohno, an industrial engineer at Toyota, in an effort to improve manufacturing efficiency. Okay, this means nothing is manufactured at any stage until its need is signaled from the subsequent stage via a Kanban. Okay, the main goal is to limit the build-up of excess inventory at any point on the production line. Okay, a Kanban, it contains a basic information such as a part number, brief descriptions, type of container, unit load, preceding station and subsequent station. Okay, sometimes the Kanban is color-coded to indicate raw materials or other stages of manufacturing. The information on the Kanban does not change during the productions. Okay, the same Kanban can rotate back and forth between the preceding and subsequent workstations. Okay, as you can see in this slide, it is one of the example of the Kanban card. It has the product number, product description, quantity required, location, and so on. Okay, in this slide, it shows how the Kanban works. Okay, we use the 3-bin system. Okay, 1 bin is available on the floor of the production unit using the product. Second bin is available at the inventory department of the factory where the production staff obtains raw materials. Okay, the third bin is available at the premise of the supplier who has been selected to deliver the materials. Okay, each bin contains card which Kanban with detailed information showing inventory numbers available within the bins and the date which they were received. So, in this slide, I will tell everyone how the Kanban works. Okay, once the bin at the factory floor is depleted, its Kanban card is returned to the inventory department. So, in the inventory department, they will replace the bin with a full bin obtained from the suppliers. In turn, the inventory department send the empty bin with the Kanban card to the vendor for replenishment. Okay, so suppliers and the vendors stays on top of replenishing of materials at their location, keeping them ready for the next exchange. So this is how basically the process with the Kanban card. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alisa Suraya binti Zulkifli, and I'll be explaining about the advantages and disadvantages of GIT and also some of the companies that use GIT system. Okay, so for the first advantage is that the company will have smaller investment because GIT inventory management is an ideal methodology for small production facilities that do not have the fund needed in order to purchase huge amount of stock at once. So ordering stock materials only when they are needed enables the firm to maintain a healthy and smooth cash flow. So as for the second advantage is that the firm can reduce space needed because with GIT the firm has a faster turnaround of stock, which means that they do not need a lot of warehouse or storage space to store goods or materials. Ultimately, this will reduce the amount of storage space the organization will need to rent or buy, which will free up funds for other parts of the business as well. And the third advantage is that the firm can save time because they can avoid the build-up of unsold finished products that can occur with sudden changes in demand. Hence, less time is spent on checking and reworking the products of others, as the emphasis is on getting the work right first time. And the last one is that the firm will have less working capital because Lower stock holding means a reduction in storage space, which saves rents and insurance costs. As stock is only obtained when it is needed, less working capital is tied up in stock. For the disadvantages of using GIT system is that the firm will have to depend on suppliers, because having to rely on the timeliness of supplier for each order puts the firm at risk of delaying their customers' receipt of goods. So if the firm are unable to meet consumer expectations, then they could take their business elsewhere, or they may lose their customer. And if stock is not delivered on time, the whole production schedule can be delayed, and this is why it is very important to choose reliable suppliers and have a strong relationship with them, so that the firm can make sure that they have the materials that they needed to meet the customer's demand. For the second disadvantage is that the firm might experience the risk of running out of stocks. With GIT manufacturing, the firm do not carry as much stock. This is because they base their stock off demand forecast, and if those are incorrect, then the firm will not have the correct amount of stock readily available for their consumers. This is one of the most common issues with manufacturing that utilize system or methods such as GIT. And the third disadvantage of using GIT system is that the firm is unable to meet unexpected orders, because there is no spare finished products available to meet unexpected orders. So the firm might experience a problem to meet the actual orders needed. And then last one is that the firm might need more planning, because GIT inventory management requires companies to understand sales trends and variances in close detail. So many companies have seasonal sales period, meaning that a number of products will need a higher stock level to combat consumer demand. So therefore, the firm must plan ahead for instances like this and ensure that their suppliers are able to fulfill the requirements. So these are some of the examples of companies that use GIT system. So the first one is Apple. Apple has leveraged GIT principles to make its manufacturing process a success, and their approach to GIT is different in that they leverage their suppliers to achieve GIT goals. And as we know, Apple has only one central warehouse in the US and about 150 key suppliers worldwide. So they develop strong and strategic relationship with their vendors. So this outsourcing of production made Apple leaner and resulted in slashing costs and reducing overstocks. With only one central warehouse in the US, most of the inventory is at their retail stores, and adding further to the GIT mix, Apple began to take advantage of drop shipping, and as a result, this reduces shipping costs, wastage, and storing costs. So these are some of the important factors in Apple's success of using GIT system, is that there is a willingness of suppliers to keep inventory on hand, allowing Apple to be free of this responsibility. And the second one is holding inventory at their retail stores. And the third one is dropshipping arrangement for online purchases. So next, Toyota was also the first one to implement GIT effectively in 1970 and is still one of the most successful companies practicing GIT systems. Their method, also known as the Toyota production strategy, sees that raw materials are not brought to the production floor until the order is received from the customer and the product is ready to be built. During the production process, no parts are included in the next node or station unless they are required to. So this keeps the amount of inventory to a minimum, which as a result lower costs. So this also allows Toyota to adapt quickly to customers' demand, significantly reducing the risk of having excessive inventory at its disposal. And the important factors in Toyota's success is that the first one, the small quantities of raw material are kept at each station of production, assuring that there is always enough inventory stock to start production of any product. So this is also replenished once used. And the second important factors is that they use accurate forecasting to stock raw materials at the correct level. Okay, so this is the last example of companies that use JIT system, which is McDonald's. Because fast food restaurants such as McDonald's use JIT inventory to serve their customers on a daily basis. And these fast food restaurants usually have everything they need on hand, but for example, they don't start assembling and making their hamburgers and sundaes until the order has been taken. So this standardizes the process so that every time a customer receives an order, they are getting the same consistent experience. And some of the important factors to McDonald's success by using JIT system is that they use standardized procedures ensuring consistency, and JIT method increases customer satisfaction as items are made more freshly. So in conclusion, JIT helps business owners save money and reduce wastage while still providing their customers with the products they want and need in a timely manner, as excess inventory is vastly decreased by ordering inventory stock on a just when you need basis. Business owners will not need to keep large quantities of inventory stockpiled and reducing all the costs associated with this. So that's all from us. Thank you.